streaming. Right. Ready in 3, 2, 1.
Hello everyone. Today we have, you can see it on the screen, Redmond's football report.
Hi there.
This is my father, Dad, or you can call him Martin. My name is Redmond.
And this is his football report, where, as we always do, we take you on a cruise of our preview.
All around the world of football.
Yeah.
So you can know the games.
We'll be showing the results of the games we previewed on Friday, and we'll be previewing games going from now straight through to the weekend, as far as I think Friday afternoon, I think. And we've got one result just in as we speak, and I'll cover that when we have a look. Let's have a look at the results of the... we'll have a look at the results of the week gone, and then we'll talk about our goal of the week and our game of the week. So looking at the results, you can see, as always, Redmond's predictions for the results are in red, mine are in purple, and we were both right in the result, but not the score, for the big game between Bordeaux and PSG in women's football. Porto and Benfica held out a draw, a 1-1 draw as Redmond guessed. The women, I think I was a little bit slightly closer.
I got the score right.
You got the score right. No, you got wins. I managed to get the scores closest. A draw and a win for Sydney FC. CD Olimpia beat Marathon to conclude the Honduras Apertura final. I think they've won that 3-0 on aggregate. Dr. Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo, beat Congo 1-0.
And I thought it would be a 2-1 to Dr. Congo.
And I've got the result wrong. Boca Juniors won on penalties against Banfield in the Copa Diego Armando Maradona final. We talked about the Vietnam League. Ho Chi Minh City lost would be the biggest surprise from what I've seen of the results.
And I thought Banfield would win.
You did indeed. You just watched Chelsea against Man United. What did you think?
It was a good game. I got the score right.
Do you think Man United were a bit unlucky though?
Yeah, it should have been a 2-2.
That was a very tight offside.
Yeah.
As we speak, it has just gone full time in the Egyptian Premier League game between El Zamalek and El Gunan. Again, awful pronunciation, but it ended up 1-0 to El Zamalek. And given that tomorrow is the United States inauguration of the new president, the former vice president of Barack Obama, the scorer for Zamalek is their midfielder, Obama, scored in the 10th minute.
Obama.
So I could have put in the score, but I just didn't get time. Didn't change. Liverpool Man United turned into being a very damp squib at 0-0. No major change for either team. Inter Milan beat Juventus 2-0. In what I'm going to hope is a blip for Juventus, rather than a signifier of huger
we both
problems.
Thought they would win, and that is the game where the goal of the week comes in.
And we'll talk about that in a moment. Our actual game of the week was, unfortunately, Barcelona against Athletic Club Bilbao. 3-2 to Bilbao after extra time in the Spanish Supercup final. Redmond, why is that the game of the week?
Because Barcelona was having their normally diddly-doo with 2-0 win. But then Bilbao struck. They scored a goal at the last minute, and we thought that was it. No, it wasn't. They scored another at the last minute.
That wasn't in the last minute. That was into extra time.
Yeah.
It was about 2 minutes into extra time. Yep, Barcelona having scored 2 through Griezmann, putting them 1 and 2-1 up.
And
mad little goal for Athletic Club to make it 1-1. But the last minute equaliser was crazy, and then go on.
Griezmann missed. Wow.
He did miss a great opportunity
But
to make it 3-3.
Messi punched a player.
In the last minute of extra time, yeah.
But another guy got sent off.
No, I think Messi got sent off. which is going to be interesting. He's going to have to solve. It's his first ever sending off. He waited a while. It'll be interesting to see whether he's suspended in League or Cup games, or is that going to carry over to next year's Supercopa? I don't know, but he could be in for a week off. Imagine that. 2, as it would turn out, depending on. So let's have a look at that's our. Could you tell us about the goal of the week for Inter against Juventus, Redmond?
Well, it was basically playing out for an Inter wanting to have a counter attack, but they didn't. So a guy got the ball. He kicked the ball so far he fell on his bum.
Yes, he
and
did.
And then it went so far. One of the Inter players, what is his name again?
Barella, man of the match in the game.
And he scores a goal. And then guess what? When they were celebrating, kind of like Lukaku was pulling his shirts into
he was pulling the shirt of the guy who was celebrating, who was pointing at the guy who made the pass. It was an amazing pass from Bastone. I would recommend watching just that goal, if nothing else. It wasn't a great game. Inter wasted a lot of chances, but the goal from Barella and the assist from Barella, to be honest, to a very poorly marked
Juventus team.
Yeah, Juventus were at 6s and 7s, very poor marking, but the pass from Barella for the first goal and the pass to Barella for the second were splendid. Well worth watching. Okay, let's have a look at take your fingers off that. Let's have a look at some of the games for the week coming up. So, let's see, where shall we start? I had this worked out and I've absolutely forgotten it now. We'll start this week in Africa. We'll go to the African Nations Championship, which is just going to be the thing for the next little while. Right now, I think there's a game going on in Group D. Bizarrely, in all the groups, there has been no more than one goal in a game, and mostly 1-0 or 0-0 games. So that leaves everything very even. And one of the first most even ones is Group A. The match tomorrow, Wednesday the 20th at 22 hours CET between Cameroon and Mali. The tournament's taking place in Cameroon, and Cameroon, get your fingers off that. People might want to actually hear us, wouldn't they?
I know, Daddy.
But you could not mess with
and
that.
And I thought, did you know? Actually, the player for Wolves, Traore
Adama.
He could have played for Mali or Spain. What team do you guess? You have 10 seconds.
You don't have 10 seconds. Redmond, we have time to meet. We don't want people to be watching this for 40 minutes.
If you guessed Mali, you're correct.
I think so. I can't remember.
He actually went to Mali.
Okay.
It's a very big surprise.
Either way, this is the African Nations Championship, not the African Cup of Nations. So these are players playing in their own league. So Traore, whether he can play for them or not, is not there. Neither is Matip, who would be playing for Cameroon if he was.
So I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw.
You reckon it's going to be 1-1. I reckon it's going to be 2-0. Some facts about the actual game. I believe... Oh, I see. I've set everything up all right. It's been basically... Mali have the better kit, but Cameroon have the better league, so you've got to fancy Cameroon for it. So I fancy him 2-0. Again, not the same excitement as the Cup of Nations, but still good football all the same. And while we're talking about it, I'll move on to my pick for the week, which is Libya against the Democratic Republic. Oh yeah, both Mali and Cameroon have won their first games. 1-0, obviously. Libya against Democratic Republic of Congo. Both teams are former winners. Congo winning it in 2009 and 2000 and... What did I say it was? 2018? Is it? 2016, whereas Libya won it in 2014. Morocco are the current holders, and them and DR Congo, as far as I'm concerned, are favourites. Libya are actually there because Egypt did not enter, and Tunisia, who played them in the semi-final of their section, despite winning, pulled out. Nevertheless, two former winners, it should be an exciting game. Redmond, what did you reckon for this game? Democratic Republic of Congo, Libya. Who do you think's going to win?
I thought it was going to be a 1-0 Dr. Congo.
Yep, and I'm plumbing for 2-1 because surely this run of 1-0s must end. We're going to jump from there up to CONCACAF across the Atlantic. And yet again, for the umpteenth time, we're talking about Olimpia from Honduras. I think they've featured we've talked about Honduran teams almost always in the CONCACAF section. Again, one of our featured games. This is the final of the CONCACAF League, which is basically like the Europa League, only in CONCACAF. Please stop bouncing on that. And they play in the final Alajuelense, who are the Costa Rican team. This is the fourth running of the final. Olimpia won it in 2017, and since then it has always been won by Costa Rican teams. Herediano and Saprissa, if I'm not mistaken. It's hard not to see if it's being played in Alajuelense's ground, which I think it is. It's hard not to see them win it. This game, by the way, taking place on the 21st, which is Thursday at 4 a.m. Central European time. So the scores, as always, will be put up. The times of the games will be put up at the end. Redmond, who do you think is going to win? Alajuelense or Olimpia? It's up here that you have it.
So, who's the
Who's the who?
Costa Rican team?
Alajuelense.
I think they're going to win.
In a shocking change from what he actually said earlier to me when I asked him about it, he's decided to change his vote. So what's the score that you expect him to win by?
1. I think it actually might be a 2-1.
2-1. Just to spite me. Well, that won't be up, but you'll have to remember it. In my case, I'm guessing 1-0 Alajuelense. Olimpia are good, but they've got to be tired, and they have not done well in CONCACAF Champions League. I got to fancy the Costa Ricans in this one. Moving on from there to AFC, Asian. Redmond, please stop kicking that, or we'll have to do something about it. In the AFC, we are looking actually at... Stop. You're distracting me, and therefore everybody else is dealing with a distracted me. You didn't give me a score for or I didn't give a score for this one. Ooh, that's interesting. I'll have to come up with one. East Bengal play Mumbai City in the Indian Super League. Yeah, I know we're talking about the I-League, and I've discovered since I paid attention to Indian football last, the Super League is now no longer considered like the NASL, i.e. unrelated to football. It is now the top tier of Indian football, but like MLS, there's no promotion relegation. East Bengal is the new team in the Super League, and they play Mumbai. Mumbai have never won anything in the Super League, despite topping the league one year because of the playoffs and because they hadn't their supporters' shield type thing. They didn't get anything for it. I think their best finish otherwise has been third. They've always collapsed in the semi-finals of the playoffs, and given that only 4 teams go through, eek. However, they're doing well this season so far, early on as it may be. East Bengal were second in the I-League last season before getting promoted up. So I don't know enough about these teams to make a good guess. I'm going to go with 1-1. Redmond, what do you think? You had up here East Bengal against Mumbai.
So who's the team who's won it most?
Neither of them. You gave me a score earlier.
I think it's going to be Mumbai City.
Okay, he's given that as 2-0, so we're sticking with that. Back to Europe. I know there's a few people who are more interested in the European stuff than the other stuff. One of them might be here. And we are going to have a look around there. Our feature game for the week from Europe is Sporting against Porto. Not in the Portuguese Primeira Division. It's in the actual Portuguese Liga Taka. I can't remember what it is. The semi-final of the Portuguese League Cup.
Well, I think it's going to be a 1-1 because they're both really great teams.
Okay, I'll give the background on the match. Basically, what was I going to say? Yes, the in the case of the League Cup, it's an odd thing. It's basically I think they pick the top 6 in the top division and the top 2 in the second tier at a given point. As far as I can tell, that's it. Sporting play Porto in basically the semi-final. I can't remember who's the one who got through because I didn't note that down. But it's been almost all Porto. In the last, I think, is it 12, 24, 28 odd games, according to FontMob anyway. Porto have won it 12 times. There have been 12 draws and 4 wins for Sporting. And Sporting's last win was back in April 2018. However, Sporting are top of the league by about 4 points from Porto. I don't think either team is going to put out their strongest team. Sporting probably need the cup more, but they're chasing the league at the moment, despite being, by a long way, the third richest of the 3 big clubs. Redmond reckons 1-1. I'm going to reckon 2-2, and I think it's probably going to go to penalties.
Pens.
Not going to make a guess on who's going to win penalties there. Staying in Europe, we're going to have our look at our women's game of the midweek. Thank God we've got a few coming on. And today we're looking at Birmingham City against Everton in the WSL in England. Both are foundation clubs of the WSL, which was founded 10 years ago. Everton have been relegated since, but neither of them actually have won anything, really. They've never won the league. I think they've won an FA Cup each. I think Everton have won the League Cup, but that's about it. Massive international players in the form of Valerie Gauvin and Hayley Rousseau, Gauvin being French and Rousseau being Australian. They were both in the Women's World Cup last year. As regards...
No, in 2 years ago.
Sorry, 2 years ago, you're right, 2019. In the case of Birmingham City, they have Risha Littlejohn and Harriet Scott, who are both Irish, so...
Come on,
that's
Ireland.
A good sign. That's a good sign.
For Ireland.
Redmond, what was your reckoning on this game?
I thought it would be a 1-1.
He just went through a phase of just saying every game is going to be 1-1.
I'm
going to go with Everton winning 2-1. I think they're higher in the league at the moment, and Gauvin's a really good goal scorer, or really good player. She'll set up if she doesn't score. Staying with Europe, we go on to Redmond's set of teams. So starting off with Burnley-Liverpool. Burnley doing okay. I mean, it's English football, so they're all kind of much of a muchness, and there's a lot of kick and rush. That should annoy a few people out there.
And they were one of the first ever countries to have football.
Yes, as well as all the other ones that did, like China and Mexico and Italy.
And don't forget Scotland.
Liverpool are by far the better team.
I think it's going to be 2-0 Liverpool.
Do you? You actually said 2-0. Good. I'm plumbing for 3-1. Liverpool have the firepower. Burnley probably can get something back because Liverpool do not have their best defence at the moment. There's talk of Matip being back. There's talk of Gomez being back. But honestly, even without that, the strength of Liverpool should hold through. They'll want to bounce back after the 0-0. Jumping down and across to the Supercoppa Italia in Italy after a pair of semi-finals, which is weird. We have Juve and Napoli. They had very differing weekends. Napoli destroying Fiorentina 6-0 in a really comprehensive performance that is like a masterclass in domination. Napoli are my outside bet to do well in the league, to be honest. However, this is only the Supercoppa. You always want to win something. Juventus need to bounce back after a very, very, very poor performance against Inter. Based on the previous two...
why Napoli's going to win, because they're going to calm down their goals. So I think it's going to be a 1-0.
To Napoli?
No, to Juventus.
Okie doke. I think it's going to be a bounce back moment. I hear Weston McKennie's back. Which means that we don't have to deal with Rabiot and Bentancur in the centre of midfield. Did not work. Really did not work and did not get changed quick enough. It's comparatively novitiacy of the manager, so I think they'll bounce back. I don't think Napoli care about this. I think Napoli are the dark horses for a league run. You heard it here first and probably last. Finally, in Europe and Redmond's teams, we look at the Copa del Rey game between UE, Cornella and Barcelona. Barcelona, obviously...
have lost against them. So I think Barcelona is going to win basically at 2. Yeah.
Right. We generally do the results after I do the preview. It's a chance for Barcelona to recover. I think it's really unlikely that Messi will start. This is a third-tier team, and they're fourth in the third tier. But you don't... I mean, Alaves were able to beat Deportivo, who are a much bigger team, but are also in the third tier. Messi is unlikely to start, as far as I'm concerned. I doubt I'll be interested to see what he's suspended for, or if he is suspended. I'm thinking he may be suspended for the next league game, and if that's the case, I think Messi will get actually the bones of 2 weeks off, which he could do with. Man is literally carrying an entire city on his shoulders. Apologies, Espanyol fans, but he's carrying everybody else, and it's a big city, so there's space for you to be your own city. I think it's probably going to be 5-0. It's in UE's ground, but it's really, really unlikely that Barcelona will slip up on this. Their third team should be able to beat Cornella. I think we're going to see a lot of players we haven't seen a lot of, if at all.
Third team can beat Cornella.
So, feature for the week is the Carioca. You're going, what's the Carioca? The Carioca is a term that is used to describe anything and everything that is around Brazil, around Rio, former capital of Brazil, I believe. Never mind the Qatari Stars League. This is actually the Carioca. It is its own league, and it's in CONMEBOL, South America. So basically, it's the Rio Championship. It's been running since 1906. There are 15 teams in 2 groups over 3 here, and it takes place over 3 stages. The first stage, they play every other team in their own group. The second stage, they play all the teams, and there's a final after that. The second stage, they play the other teams, the teams in the other group, and there's a final after that. And then you end up with the final of the finals. The winners of the winners is the final. It's normally seeded with Flamenco, Fluminense, Vasco da Gama, and Botafogo. 2 in each group. Outside of them, I think 3, maybe 4 other teams have won it. Nobody's come close. It's been one-way traffic. It's preliminary stages this week, so we don't have a specific one to talk about. But always good to know about these little things. Brazil is unusual. It didn't have a league championship till the 50s or 60s, but they would play off between the champions of the various provincial championships, like the Rio Championships, like the Paulistas, which is for Sao Paulo, and so on and so forth. And final game of the week, staying in CONMEBOL, it is the top 2 of Serie A. Serie A in the case of Brazil. So we're staying in Brazil. We're not even going that far. We're going west just a couple of 100 kilometers, and south a few 100 kilometers, to both the big teams, not the big teams, from Sao Paulo and from Porto Alegre. From Porto Alegre, we have Sporting Club Internacional, and they live up to the name. I think they've got more international players than anyone else except one other team.
Bayern.
No, they were talking about Brazilian teams, Redmond. And they play Sao Paulo. First plays second. In terms of these teams, they were both last season, they were 6th and 7th. But that was 2019, which feels like 2 years ago, because it's 2 years ago. It was November 2019, so it's really only a year and a quarter. But still, it's been a long year. The Serie A only started back in, I think it was August or September. So these 2 teams have the best goal difference. Only Palmeiras have a better defence. But there's only 7 points between the top 6 teams. There's a bit of a gap down then. So anything can happen in the next 6 to 8 games, however many games are left in the tournament or in the competition. Redmond, who do you think is going to win between Sao Paulo and Sporting Club Internacional, the second sporting club of our week?
The team with the better defense.
They both have the same defense. They both have conceded exactly 28 goals.
What? No,
Yeah,
I
so
think it's going to be 1-1 actually.
Yes, and that's what he said earlier, so I'm relieved. Maybe I'm a romantic. I fancy Internacional to pull off a ridiculous win, beat Sao Paulo 2-1. Because why not? They're in better form. Sao Paulo have been drawing and losing and not doing as well. But such is a league season. Anyway, that is far and away over what we plan to do. These are our preview games. Ignore the bit where it says Qatari Stars League. Ignore some of Redmond's predictions because he's changed them. And have a great week.
Bye, everyone.
See you soon.